guys? Welcome to episode 3 of BHD Sports Podcast. We have St. Mary's women's soccer head coach, Marisa Colzie. How you doing, coach?
I'm well, Adam. How are you doing? How you doing, guys?
I'm doing great.
Doing great, Marisa. And we're so thrilled to have you on and get a different perspective and just super excited about tonight's episode with you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you. I've watched a couple women's soccer games over the year. I just graduated from SMU in May, so I've seen a little bit firsthand of all the amazing things you've done with the team. Looking forward to hear more about what you've done in your career as a player and as a coach before.
I'm a proud Husky too, Marisa. So
this is great.
You got a lunch, so you're sitting pretty tonight with.
We're gonna call this. We'll call this episode the Doghouse.
There we go. Exactly. I don't have to convert any of you. You're already Husky fans, so this is brilliant.
Absolutely. So first question from me, Marisa, is just when did you kind of develop your passion for sports? Was it something that was always kind of built in and part of you as a person, or when was it and how was it that you fell in love with sports and then soccer?
Yeah, I'd say at a really early age. My parents are both, former athletes, and my grandparents, it's been in my family. So, I started out as, a 5-year-old kicking a ball around. I started figure skating to begin with, and then T-ball. And I lasted one season as like a 6-year-old T-ball player. I got hit with the ball once in the back and I said, get me out of this. And then my dad was born in Hungary, Budapest, Hungary. So, soccer is the game, football is the game. So, the next sport they signed me up was soccer, and I loved it, running around and having fun. So, it was from an early age, and soccer was introduced to me relatively early, and my grandfather would kick a ball around, and we just really enjoyed it. So, and it's been a part of my life ever since, and it's taken me some amazing places, and I'm really, really appreciative of everything it's done for me, this game. So it was early on for me.
That's so cool. And interested to hear about like your experiences as I did a little research on you, and as a player playing down in Carolina, and then you've been talk about some of your experiences as a coach. I know you've been across the country doing that, and I'd love to hear some of your experiences, what it's like in a different sport. I was never that great at soccer, to be honest, but I got a lot of respect for soccer players and football players, I guess.
There we go.
Yeah.
I grew up in Windsor, Ontario. Like I said, Hungarian background, like first generation. So soccer was really huge there. Went on to get a soccer scholarship to a place called Coastal Carolina University. When I went there, it was probably half the population. We still were Division I, but it's grown tremendously, the university. It was an amazing place. And I think that's sort of what stemmed my coaching career. I had a female head coach for the first time, and she really sort of instilled that belief in myself that I was a leader, and sort of planted that seed for me. And right after graduating, I went home to Windsor, Ontario with a psychology degree. I minored in English, and I was looking for a job, and they weren't coming. Can you believe it? Psych and English, they weren't coming. So by the end of the summer, my parents were saying, okay, you just graduated. You had this great soccer career. What are you going to do? So I put in a resume on the ncaa.org site for a graduate assistant job at the University of West Georgia. And an hour later, the coach called me and said, if your references panned out, I'm going to call him today. Then you're getting on a flight to Carrollton, Georgia in the next 2 days. So it all just worked out. Sometimes I think if you're on the right path, things work out for you. So So that did. So I was there for the next 9 years. I was the assistant coach, got my master's degree there the first 2, and then the head coach left and they offered me the job. So I was there for another 7 seasons. And then, then me and my now husband, who is also a coach, we went to Simon Fraser University, which is the only NCAA school in Canada. So a cool experience. I was an assistant coach on the men's side, which is not the norm to have a female assistant. But Coach Alan Koch, who went on to a career in the MLS and is now in the CPL, he was my mentor there and the head coach there and sort of took me under his wing. And it was a great 2 years. We had a lot of success, made the NCAA Final Four. And then that next year, I took the head coaching job at UBC and had a whirlwind of a year and won a national championship. All the stars aligned as they do if you're going to win the big one. So I did. I was 7 months pregnant as well. And after that, my husband caught me at a weak moment, said, "You're going to leave your job that you just won a national championship at, and we're moving to Halifax with the 2-month-old." I said, "Okay, I guess I'm doing it. I'm taking one for the team," as they say. And then it all worked out because a year later, I took the head coaching job at St. Mary's University. And that's where you find me now. And I'm loving it. So it all worked out.
That's amazing. Such a cool story. Thanks for sharing that. That's awesome.
No problem.
And I must say, you're doing an amazing job. What the soccer program, and just seeing a familiar face around campus when COVID took me off of campus for the last 2 years, but when I see a familiar face like yourself or your husband, it's always nice to see someone that I know and have a lot of respect for
I
on
appreciate
campus.
that, Adam. Yeah, we love having you at the games. We'll be excited when you can get back there, because we love having you on the sideline there. So hopefully this fall is the fall.
AUS TV is not cutting it for me. No disrespect to AUS TV, but no disrespect.
You like the real action. You like to be able to smell the sweat. Yeah, we like that real action.
I like the I guess the possibility of getting a soccer ball or a football in the head. Like
there you go.
Like
that means you're close enough. We like it.
Maybe I'm getting you a 3D 3D TV for Christmas there, Adam.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'd like to be up close and personal. But just touching on something you mentioned earlier, where you had your first female head coach early in your career. Like, what impact did that make on your future career as an athlete and a coach, having a female head coach for the first time?
Yeah, that was huge for me. And to be fair, I didn't even, growing up in Windsor, Ontario, I didn't know that you could have a career as a soccer coach. I didn't, it was mostly volunteer coaches, right? I didn't see that as a career path. I actually went to university. I thought I was going to be a sports psychologist, and some days I am, but I didn't know it was a possibility until she planted that seed, and I saw that. I think she was, pivotal in my career and knowing that it was a possibility, but also planting the seed and that belief in myself that, she saw those leadership skills in me and, sort of tried to hone them during my career at Coastal. So yeah, Coach Carrie Miller, she's not coaching anymore in the university game, but had a really great career herself. And I definitely give her the credit for where I am, for sure. She was a big influence on me.
That's so cool. And you touched, I know you had an awesome journey to get to Halifax. My next question is, what does it mean to you to be a Husky? Obviously a very proud school when it comes to not only academics, but sporting as well. And, what does it mean to you to land in a university like St. Mary's?
Yeah, the passion that Huskies alum have, and, especially those that were within athletics or support the Huskies. It's just huge. I say our university is so unique with regards to we are in this, this large Canadian city, but we are a smaller university that really has that community feel. And I love the fact that our campus is on one city block. We're not scattered around, right? Like when you hit campus, you've hit campus. There's, and there just is so much Huskies pride. So I'm really appreciative of the fact that I'm a part of that now, that history. We want to get back to being the beast of the East, and you got to come through us. So I'm not naive to the history, and I really want to add value to that, right? Like we want to be champs. Like that's part of my plan as a coach. So yeah, I'm proud to be a Husky for sure. And I mean, my husband's a coach too, and also a Husky. So we are definitely a proud Husky family.
I love it. I love it. That's amazing.
Maroon all the way through. Love to see it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I should know this because I've virtually watched like 25 games in the last 2 years, but what's your coaching style like? What would you say your coaching style is?
Yeah, I would say, Adam, that sort of my philosophy on everything, is balance. So that's the same with my coaching style. I think I can light a fire if I need to, but I also can take you to the side and have a heart-to-heart chat, right? So, I think it's hopefully I'm using part of that psychology degree to sort of be able to read the situation and really get to know my athletes. There's always more to learn and, get to know my athletes, pull back the layers. But yeah, I think if I was going to say it in one word, it's balance. I'd also hope that my players would say I'm a player's coach. My door is always open for them. I want them to come and talk to me if they need something. But like I said, just getting to know my players on an individual basis, being able to hopefully motivate them with what motivates them, right? I can, like I said, light a fire under some that's going to turn off, and, I need to pull them to the side. But yeah, I'd say hopefully I'm balanced and a player's coach.
That's amazing. And you're on the air with a couple of players coaches as well, Marisa. So I think it's so important to really relate to your players on a personal level as well and help them grow, just not in the sport, but also, help them grow in other aspects of their life. And I think that's so important, and really you nailed it on the head there. So that's amazing to hear.
Chris was such a big players coach that he got me as one of my best friends and the coach alongside him with CPA. Chris was actually my coach for my first 2 years of high school hockey before I coached with him for 4 seasons at CPA.
Well, that's huge. If Chris's influence was so big that you wanted to coach, I mean, that just speaks volumes. So awesome job, Chris.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much, both of you, for the kind words. You're too kind to me, Hemi. I love you, buddy.
And love you too, buddy. And quick question. What sport does your husband coach too at St. Mary's? So because he would have had to get a job offer to probably be like, hey, pack your stuff. We're heading coast to coast now.
Yeah. So he's the pretend football. I coach the real football. He coaches the American.
All right.
I love that.
Shots fired. Can't wait till he hears this. And
it's an ongoing battle in the house, which football is the football. So I guess when we're in Canada, he can claim football and I'm soccer.
Yeah, really, when the real football is soccer. I mean, it's American football is its own thing. Right. I should be careful where I speak. I'm rating America right now too. If I say that too loudly, somebody might come busting down my door. But
I was wondering, I'm like, Where are you? You got nice sunshine. I'm like,
Oh yes, I'm in San Diego, California. So
ooh, very nice.
yeah, that's why I'm able to sit on my deck in my t-shirt here. But
That's awesome.
Oh my. So I guess my next question for you, Marisa, is, one thing that we want to talk about is, how we can grow sport as well. And just women getting recognition in sport levels and getting those high profile jobs. What were some of the barriers that you had to face as a woman in sport, coming up through the ranks? And what advice would you give to young girls or people that aspire to be coaches like yourself?
Yeah, I would say, off the top, unfortunately, women, we only have an opportunity to coach 50% of, within our sport. I'm not getting looked at for male, jobs, right? So, my male colleagues, if in Halifax, for example, any of the male teams or female teams opened up, they'd, have an opportunity to coach either of them, could put their name, in the hat and might have a chance. For women, for myself, I mean, I might, get an interview maybe depending on the school or, the level, but we're already at a disadvantage because 50% of the jobs out there, they're not going to look at a female yet. I mean, I think the glass, there is some shattering of the glass even in the pro ranks now, but we haven't seen a head coach at a professional level yet, right? On the men's side, in any major sport, in North America for sure. But so that's number one, right? The fact that half of, the jobs are almost off limits to me. I mean, I don't have a huge draw to coach a men's team right now. Not saying I wouldn't. Obviously, I was on the men's side at Simon Fraser, but I'd much rather be a role model for girls and women, and I like that. But yeah, I think advice, and I think just one or two other barriers. One would be, I kind of joke, like if we're on a trip and there's one male on the bus and we get off the bus, it could be the bus driver, they all think that's the head coach. It could be, the physio, whoever it is. If there's a group of us and there's one male, I don't know, it's like the default. They just think that's the head coach. So I think there's some bias still, be it unconscious, that they just for some reason will go to that one male and think that they're the head coach. So yeah, I think we need to continue to open the eyes of boys and girls, women and men, that women can be head coaches. And I think the advice I would give to anyone sort of aspiring to be a female coach, or just to get over those barriers, is just have that self-belief. Because yeah, some days it'll seem like people aren't believing in you, but in the end, it's just about even when you might have that little voice of doubt inside, because we all have that voice, but just having that self-belief, knowing you're doing it for the right reasons as well for the players, and to help them become the best people they can be. Having that self-belief, and then finding a good mentor and that support system, because coaching can be tough. Everyone thinks they're the coach, right? They all have their opinions and this and that. So on the tougher days, that support staff will get you through it, right? Having a good mentor to go to. So yeah, I think that would be the advice that I would give.
That's great advice, and I agree with you. I think as much as there is always a head coach, it's a collaborative group. You need all the coaches and all the team staff and all the players and especially in team sports, right? It's not just the head coach that is influential on the team. I think you nailed that right on the head. So thank you for that.
I guess my question is like for men's and women's sports, I find there's smaller crowds for the women's game. Like I watched your guys' games on AUS TV, and they took a little glimpse of the crowd, and there's maybe 75 to 100 people there. It might be COVID, might be whatever, but and then not. But I find this in every sport. There's maybe 250 for the women's game, but there's like 800 for the guys' game. As a woman in sport, how does that make you feel? Like does it bother you that there's less support, I guess?
Adam, it makes me so mad. No, it definitely, yeah, it's disheartening, right? When, let's say, yeah, we play first and the guys play after, or, you know, women's basketball might play at 5 and men at 7, and, you know, people just sort of stroll in for the guys' game. You know, for the average fan that's just going there just to support the Huskies, right? It definitely, you know, the game is the same, right? Like, and that's one thing I love about soccer. There is no difference between a men's soccer game and a women's soccer game other than the gender of the people playing it. The size of the net is the exact same. The weight of the ball, the subs, the time, right? Some other sports, lots of other sports, there's differences, right? But soccer is exactly the same, and that's why I love it. So yeah, for people to sort of see one as less than or not as good, right? Yeah, definitely, or you know, not worthy of support. Definitely, yeah, makes me angry, makes me sad, because I know how much work my players put in, and it's just as much as the men's team, right? So for them not to get that recognition or that support really hurts, for sure.
And it bothers me too as a fan, because you know I'm sitting here like right as I am now, watching the girls play, and I'm like, and I'm getting just as excited, if not more, for that's it. Gender does not matter. The skill level does not matter. Support everyone. My problem is equality. There's none. It kills me.
We need everyone to think like you, Adam.
And anyone that disagrees with that is clearly out to lunch and hasn't seen the top women teams, like the Canadian women's soccer team, for example, or the women's hockey team. Like these athletes are so badass and just awesome at their sport and their craft. And it's sad that the recognition isn't there. And hopefully we can, you know, keep raising that issue, and we can keep promoting those sports, because they have, you know, full right to just the same recognition that the men higher sports teams do. And it's, you know, you're hearing from 3 guys here, and I know obviously you feel that more than we can ever experience, but it's time for change, and it's time to give these women the recognition that they deserve.
That's awesome to hear, guys. Yeah, I mean, we need, you know, we need not just women pushing, you know, pushing for it, right? Yeah, we need men as well. So I really appreciate that, you know, you're speaking on it.
Well, you got 3 men here pushing for it, so
that's awesome.
And my next question, kind of like leading on to that point there, is like, what do you think that we can do to kind of bridge the gap between the two?
Yeah, I would say, you know, getting it out there, right? I think, oh gosh, the number is so low. It's single digit percentage of women's sports on television compared to men. If you don't see it, you know, like well, first of all, if you don't have access, you're not going to see it. And of course, with the internet now, right? Great podcasts like this, you know, lots of, you know, outlets other than television, it's there, but you still have to search to find it, right? But if it's on TV, if it's on TSN, if it's on CBC, you know, people are going to just flip on the TV and be like, okay, and it becomes the norm, and it's not like, oh, what is this, right? So access is number one, and that's, of course, it takes money, but I mean, the numbers with regards to how many people watched, you know, Canadian women's soccer team win the gold medal, and, you know, the Olympic gold medal, women's hockey, and, you know, in Europe, they're selling out stadiums, and, you know, so like it's there. It's just who's gonna invest, because you're gonna get the return. Like it's, you know, it's not even a risk anymore. Like it's just like who's actually gonna do it. And I do know, you know, for women's soccer, the big push right now, obviously we're riding a high, won a gold medal. So the big push is a Canadian Professional Women's League. And I know we're close. Canada Soccer just, you know, put out a job posting for, you know, the director of female professional soccer. So I know they're going to put someone in, hire someone, and I do know that behind the scenes, the sort of ball is already rolling. So, I mean, we're there. And then just for the average Canadian, the average American is just, you know, get to your local university, watch both games, get there, you know, the extra hour early and watch the women first, you know, turn on the TV. If you see something on, you know, watch it. It's as simple as that. You don't have to invest huge amounts of money. It's just the support, because that's gonna, you know, show that that people want it, because it's about that as well, right? The demand for it, and hopefully investors will see that.
Yeah.
Very well said for sure.
Now, we've known that you had a pretty kick-ass coaching career. We've talked like a bit about that, like going from winning a championship at Simon Fraser, coming to St. Mary's, being a female head coach, but you also played Division I soccer as a player too, which I think that's pretty kick-ass, like especially being a Canadian, going into the States and going into like a whole new different state. Like tell me a bit about like what's your experience, especially in like your first year going to like a new state, new school, like playing Division I soccer.
Yeah, it was amazing. I really did have 4 of some of the best years of my life there. I went in pretty green, pretty like not knowing really much. You know, I had went on some visits, some other schools, went on some visits, ended up really loving Coastal Carolina. It's just outside of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, so it doesn't get much better than that. When I went there, our first year was our inaugural season. So we actually started the program. So it was, there was 22 of us, brand new. I mean, there were some few transfers, but we were all quite young. And I really did. I had a great first year. I was our conference rookie of the year. I was first team all conference my first year. So it was just a really awesome experience, and went on to captain the team the next 3 years, and had a few more all conference nods. It was just the level was awesome. It really pushed me on and off the field. And I made some of my very best friends. We're still best friends to this day. So yeah, it was awesome. And I think that's what makes me so passionate and so invested in my program, because I want that for my players. Like, I want them to have like the most amazing time where like in 20 years, like I am, like they can say, oh my gosh, that was amazing. I'd give so much money to go back just one more season, you know, I'd run the Cooper test again or whatever it is.
The Cooper test, God. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
There you go. That's what
my legs just flinched and tensed up when you said that word.
That's what
I don't even know who the hell Cooper is, but I hate him.
Exactly. Oh, I feel that. I feel that. But I would run it one more time just to go back. But yeah, it was an amazing experience. That's what I want for my players as well. And then yeah, I got to play in the W League, which was the highest league in North America at the time. So played with a lot of the old Canadian national team players for 2 seasons. So that was yeah, it was fun. It was a good time.
I think that's so cool that you took those learnings as a player and you apply those same things in your coaching philosophy. That's so smart and so awesome to hear that, you know, those lessons that you learned as a player, and you kind of instill those on your players and help them guide them through the sport. And I think that's so cool to hear. Really is.
I know you probably don't want to remember this day, but I remember one game I watched from beginning right to the end. You know where I'm going with this, I think. In the Dow game, tie game, and next thing you know, I'm watching the game, and I see Cameron Brimley-Combe coming up the wing. She gets hurt. I'm like, oh no. And I'm like, I'm like, okay, she just blew a tire. Oh, she's fine. 2 minutes later, she's getting carried off the field. I'm like, she's hurting me. Got Acadia next week. I'm like, oh. Came back and played the following week. As a coach, having players like that, what does that show in a player?
Yeah, I mean, you know, just that grit and that desire, and you know, leaving it all on the field. I mean, that's huge, right? Obviously, I don't condone if you're injured, like, you know, don't put yourself in danger, but yeah, you know, having that grit and perseverance and doing everything that you can for your team, it's just yeah, it's just everything you want in a player, right? You know, just that investment, that total commitment. So yeah, we this past season had some very gritty results, and I was really proud of the players, you know, coming off of what wasn't a season, right, during COVID. So yeah, no, that was yeah, that's a fun memory.
And honestly, like, I felt that the record that you guys had this year spoke nothing compared to what you guys had.
I agree, Adam. I agree.
Nothing. Like,
yeah, we had some we lost a lot of games by 1 goal, and yeah, but had some good ties against the top teams, and you know, yeah, I mean, we tied Acadia, they won the whole thing, so we're close to turning the corner, and getting the results that, you know, you hope you deserve, right, when you're trying to do everything that you can. So yeah.
And it's not always a linear process either, right? You take those losses and those ties and you build off them in years to come. And you know, you're not going to be, you know, undefeated the first year. It's all about a progress. And I think it's cool that you guys have that outlook that, you know, it wasn't the results you wanted some games, but you build on those and you keep getting better. And I think that's awesome to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, you know, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So you gotta, you know, I know it hurts. And yeah, at the time you're like, oh my gosh. But yeah, when you look at the big picture, it's just about improvement and growth and continuing to take steps forward. And that's what we're trying to do for sure.
I know I've seen a lot of growth from the Thanksgiving game to the Moncton game. I know I seen a lot of growth just within that 5 games, I think it was.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We finally found the back of the net. But yeah, Allie Martin, she scored a hat trick that game. Poor girl, she had suffered a pretty bad concussion the first week of preseason and was out for most of the season. But yeah, came in that game and really showed what 2022 is going to look like, I'm hoping.
Absolutely. And we can't wait to get out and watch some games and come root you guys on. And
that'd be awesome.
Super excited about it. I'm really fired up. Or when does your season start exactly? Is it right in September?
Yeah, so we'll start regular season games in September, weekend after Labor Day, and then we'll have some preseason games from August 19th on is when we start.
Now, will it be too embarrassing if we show up with signs and we're just screaming your name the entire time?
I might ignore. No, I'm just joking. I don't like. No, I'm kidding. That would be amazing. I don't care. Be as loud and as proud as you want. That'd be great.
I think we can make that happen. Eh,
there we go.
I think we need to get some bullhorns, maybe some clappers.
Nice. Love it. Love it. Yeah. Love it.
Let's go to the dollar store, spend $20, get as many noisemakers as we can.
That's awesome.
Get our inner cheerleading on, eh, boys? I like it.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've had pom-poms in my hands. So
I think you'd actually look good with pom-poms there, Hammy.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I think we all would actually.
I agree. Well, listen, Marisa, it was so awesome to have you on, and I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and chat with us about obviously something that you're so passionate about and have made a life out of, and I think that's so cool. And really appreciate you coming on and sharing your experiences with us. And hopefully we can get you back on. And like I said earlier, I can't wait to get out and root those women Huskies on in the fall.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me, guys. Really, really appreciate it. And yeah, you let me know. We'll put you on the guest list and treat you like kings.
Thank you very much.
Sounds good.
We appreciate everything and sharing your experience, not just as a coach, but a player. But if I can't even remember everything, like all conference, like team captain, NCAA champ, like you got a whole list there. You got a book of accomplishments, and congratulations on such an accomplished career.
And
thank you.
Keep up the good work, girl. We're proud of you.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right. That's everything for episode 3 of BHD Sports. Thank you for tuning in.